and welcome back to the BeeZy kitchen. And today I'm going to do my version of my family's sweet curry that's been handed down through generations. Today we're going to start off with browning off our chopped onion, which I've already done. And I'm going to use a high smoke point oil, so an oil that's going to come to a high temperature. Olive oil is not the greatest for this, especially when you want to get the flavours going. We're going to cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes. So grapeseed oil is brilliant, and we're going to pop that in with the chopped onion, and then we're going to put some of the Keen's curry powder in there. And to make it sweet, I'd usually use sultanas, but today I'm going to use some chopped up dates. So I've used just under half a cup of chopped up dates, and I have some sugar here. I have 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, so I'm going to use my grapeseed oil. I've just heated up the pan just a little bit. I'm going to pop a fair amount in there, because we want it to be cooking for about 8 to 10 minutes to make sure we get all these flavours in. So it's probably just not quite hot enough yet, but we'll heat up. Just putting in, this was 1 cut up brown onion. Just whack that pan up a little bit more. Take too long to heat up. And while we're browning off that brown onion there, I'm going to put in my dates so they can soften. Make sure you use pitted dates. So today my dates are actually an experiment, because as I said, I would usually use half a cup of sultanas, but I'm going to try dates today, and they'll be nice and soft in the slow cooker, because this is a slow cooker meal. You could do it in a pot just in the oven and let it tick over on a low heat for the day. Right there. Next, I'm going to put some of the Keen's curry powder in, and I'm going to use 1 teaspoon today. Pop that across there. While we're browning off the onion, and let those flavours start coming together. Before we water it down with, I've done 3 cups of beef stock today. I'll just see how that goes as I'm popping it over the rest of the ingredients. That's smelling really lovely now. The aromas are really good. Nice and sweet. And as that's cooking there, I'm going to add, usually I'd use brown sugar. I got the Germa sugar today, because being in COVID-19, I'm working with the ingredients I actually have in my house without going down the shops unnecessarily. Sprinkle that over. This is going to make it a little bit syrupy. It's smelling really, really nice. And the colour of that, I'm not sure if the camera can pick up that colour. It's beautiful. So just going to let that sit. Just before I let that sit, put a little bit of salt and pepper over the top. My family's a fan of pepper, so I put a decent amount of pepper in there. And I am going to let that continue to cook away there with the flavours for a little bit, and we'll come come back to it. So I'll let this sit for another good 5 minutes. Now while that's still cooking, I'm going to cut up some of this rump steak. I would usually use lamb, or sometimes I've used chicken, but today, as I said, whatever I've got in my fridge, and I've got some rump steak, and this is about just over ½ kilo. So I'm going to chop that up now while this finishes cooking. Alright, so this has been cooking for 10 minutes, and I'm going to add some gluten-free Worcestershire sauce, which you can find in Woolies, where all the sauces are. A good dash of Worcestershire. Doesn't come out that well in these little bottles. And I'll just turn my heat back up just a little bit while I'm putting this in. And the other thing I'm going to add today is some coconut syrup. So you find this in the health food part usually. It's quite sticky. I'm going to go for a tablespoon to add to that sweetness of our curry today. Sweet curry is really good for families because the kids actually like sweet things. So without showing them the dates, and because they're chopped up, they won't know what they are, they'll actually like them. So if you want to hide something that's good for them and sweet, pop this in. Alright, now my family used to always brown the meat off, but my brother just told me with it going in the slow cooker, don't brown the meat off because you don't want to seal the meat, because then these beautiful flavours are not going to actually go through. So that's a good point. So today I'm not going to brown the meat, I'm just going to pop it in when it's ready to go into the slow cooker, so my meat can absorb all the flavours. But first I'm going to pop in a cup of chopped apple. So once again, I've sourced locally, and I have my apple from our local apple farm, the Sanders Apple Farm. In the Yarra Valley. So popped them now. I think some of my potatoes have just popped in there. So I've also chopped up, just to bulk up the curry, I've got 3 medium carrots, and here was just my leftovers of my small potatoes in the fridge, which just goes over a cup. So I had 5 little potatoes. So that's just for bulking up my curry. Alright, so I have chopped up all this rump steak into sort of chunky pieces. It's going to be cooking on high for 4 hours, and this should start being, you'll know when it's ready because this will be all falling apart. Okay, so now I'm going to start layering it and folding it through in my slow cooker dish. So to start with, I'm going to put my base in. It smells amazing. Sorry, I got the pot in the way there. It smells super good. Alright, next I'm going to put my rump steak in. In it goes. So remembering we don't actually have to brown this off because we want the flavours to actually go through while it's cooking throughout the day. So a good time to have this in the pot and ready to go is about midday. And you can cook it for 4 to 6 hours. Just check it at the 4-hour mark, see how your meat's going. And you can serve it on its own in a bowl with some nice bits of bread, which my family like doing, or on some mashed potato. That's really yummy. Or sometimes I'll even use, I'll do some rice and pop this on the rice, and it's really, really nice with the rice. Okay, so I've done that. I have my 3 cups of beef stock. Just going to pour that over so it just covers that meat. Yeah, give it a bit of a stir through. That's it. And I'm going to pop my rest of my potatoes and carrots in on top. Just a few. So these are just to bulk it up just a little bit. Okay, that's sitting quite nice. Top it up because we just want everything just covered. So those 3 cups of stock for this little cooker was perfect. If you've got a bigger family cooker, which I should invest in, try another cup of stock. So I'm going to pop the lid on there, and I'm going to pop it over into my slow cooker. And I'm going to whack that on high and check it at 4 hours and see how it goes. So I will return later with the end results. Okay, bye. Okay, so I've come back to my sweet curry. It is now ready. I did end up thickening it with a little bit of arrowroot. So if you haven't used arrowroot before, I used 2 teaspoons and about half a cup of cold water because the hot water actually activates it and makes it a bit thicker. I prefer to use the arrowroot than plain flour because I just find that plain flour gets all lumpy. But yeah, arrowroot's my choice when I'm thickening up things. So get the rice out. And pop some of this really yummy sweet curry on top of my rice with some of its gravy. And I'm just going to clean up the side of the plate there. If you want to make it look a bit fancy, is what my son calls it. A little bit of pepper on the outside of the dish. And I'm going to move the camera down so you can actually see it. And there we go. There is BeeZys Sweet Curry. So I hope you enjoy my sweet curry, and I'll be finishing off my sticky date pudding coming up shortly.